Two Rivers Talks is brought to you by Two Rivers Biz Starts. Also by Two Rivers Main Street. And by Raleigh Point Economic Advising. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is Todd Nielsen and my friend Darla Leclerc here. We are Two Rivers Talks, your place for all things Two Rivers, arts, entertainment, news, fun, word of the day, how's it hanging, all kinds of cool stuff. Today, we have a cool thing to bring you, which is our good friend from Two Rivers City Council President, Mr. Curt Andrews, is coming on the show to talk to us a little bit about branding and marketing for the city of Two Rivers. What is branding, you may ask? Well, we're going to delve into that more deeply in this particular episode, and you're going to learn about all the efforts that have been going on to tell the city's story. And I know both Darla and I, you and I have been involved with this since about the beginning, kind of rethinking the city, and really it's about remaining true to Two Rivers, isn't it?
That is so clever. I like it. I really do. And what is this movement culminating in on August the 29th?
Well, August the 29th, I think Curt is going to be telling us in just a minute about the Celebrate Two Rivers event, which is going to be a big shindig in the city to roll out the new brand. But it's also going to be about entertainment and literally just celebrating what it is to be a resident of the city here. And, it's an expression of positivity during a difficult time of crisis. We have a lot of different things going on. And I think it's a good shot in the arm for people here, as long as we're observing good social distancing practices and guidelines when we're out in public. But I think it's going to be a nice event to talk about why we're so proud of the place that we live in.
Right. And I think we definitely need to have this type of fellowship with our other, with our neighbors. And to me, it has almost an old-fashioned vibe to it, where you just get together and you nosh on good food. There's some entertainment. You communicate with the person sitting next to you, and you talk about positive, wonderful things centered around the city. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Mr. Curt Andrews. Hopefully he has pants on. I'm sorry.
I don't, but that's just the usual. So
you're so naughty. Hi.
Hello, Curt.
Are they there?
Yeah, I just got my pants on. Just kidding.
Oh, welcome, Curt. It's so good to see you, man. How have you been?
I've been great. Thank you for having me on Two Rivers Talks. It's always a pleasure. I've been great. How about you guys? Darla, been good?
I've been awesome.
Todd, you been good?
Living, what is it? La Dolce Vita, the beautiful life.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? We've had an incredibly pretty summer outside. Great time to be outdoors, to be with your loved ones. So trying our best to make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak.
You're absolutely correct. And what a great time to be in Two Rivers with weather like this, with the sun out almost every day, with it nice and high 70s, low 80s, nice and crisp at night. It's just beautiful. So what a great place to be. So we're so blessed. We're fortunate. Unfortunately, we spend too much time indoors these days because of what we're dealing with the pandemic. But man, oh man, is there a lot of stuff to do when you get out. As long as you social distance and behave yourselves, you'll be okay.
Absolutely.
So thanks for having me.
Well, Curt, we're excited to have you on the show because we want to talk all about the City of Two Rivers branding campaign. And we talked, I think, to you a little bit before about sort of the brand committee and efforts there. And full disclosure, Darla and I are on that committee as volunteers. We're very happy to be involved with it, but we want to share the story with others across the community who may be interested, maybe heard something about it, maybe heard there's a logo or something involved. and and then hopefully get into a little bit of a discussion of specifics of the event that's coming up on August the 29th.
Well, thank you guys. It's a passion of mine to talk about branding and marketing, especially if you can market something you love and you're passionate about, which we love Two Rivers, right? So I know you touched on it earlier when you were setting up the introduction, but I'll kind of rewind the clock. About 18 months ago, we kind of identified as a council that we haven't been doing exactly a stellar job of unifying and telling our story, at least from a selling aspect of all the assets we had. We were kind of touching the elephant in a variety of different places, and not being very consistent, and not being very, I'll call thorough, as very or very predictable in what we were trying to do, or we didn't even have a target on who we were trying to tell our story to, much less what the story was. So we started this process about 18 months ago, and what we were doing is basically saying, let's do some self-reflection on who is Two Rivers? What are our brand principles? What is our story? What's our elevator speech, if you would, if we were trying to attract businesses or residents to move here or tourists to stop by? What is the positive thing we can say about Two Rivers? And can we all agree on what is the most important or the most positive things we can put front and center, put a spotlight on, that will attract the most people here? So with that, we formed a committee. I'm going to give you the long version, but I'll make it as short as I can for the sake of time. But we had 13 people. I've been blessed to have both you guys on the committee. You bring a wealth of both knowledge, background, history, as well as just insights into the thinking and the open-mindedness of it.
That's all Darla. It's all her.
Yeah, no, it's all you guys. I'm gonna go like this. So it's those two over there.
Nice.
Okay, I got the wrong camera angle. But it was a good cross.
Gang signs? What is the?
I don't know.
We look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So I just have to explain what that is, Curt. So whenever the pandemic first hit and we started talking about like you can't shake hands anymore, there were a couple of us that just said, well, you got to go around. We're talking about Two Rivers, right? So we'll just start doing a sign to salute each other, sort of the Two Rivers sign, you know.
Oh, that's okay. I got it.
I don't know if it's a bad sign or not.
No, well, if it is, we apologize to anybody out there that we actually upset, but it wasn't meant to be a bad sign.
You know, we're still breathing, so it wasn't too bad.
So there we go.
So anyway, we pull this group together to establish a roadmap and a process. One of the first things you got to do when you're rebranding, which is difficult, by the way, to rebrand a city and a community. It's a lot different than if you're taking Coca-Cola out. You know your competition, you know your product, you know who your audience is, you know what the margins are. You're marketing differently, but a city, you got 11,712 people that have to help tell that story, right? And then again, what is the story you want to tell? So we searched, first of all, for an agency. And there are agencies out in the United States and around the world, actually, who do what they call place branding. And we kind of searched high and low and ran across an excellent agency through the interview process that we brought on board named Civic Brands. And we liked them for two reasons. One, their pedigree, what they've done in the past, but also the fact that they kind of did a video journal of the process in which they went through that allows us an easier opportunity to tell that story to the community once we come to a conclusion. So you can say it both in words, we can say it visually, and now we can say it with a beautiful put together video that kind of tells that story. So they came up and they did a variety of trips and did a variety of interviews, focus groups. I think they were here 3 times, right, guys?
Yeah.
Right.
And we had them here during the winter as well as during the warmer seasons.
And each of those trips was about a week long each time.
Right.
So they spent a lot of time in the community getting to know us.
Yep. And getting to know the individuals, whether it was business people, it was kids from high school, it was the elderly, it was people on different civic organizations, whether it be Rotary or Main Street. they spent a lot of time with a lot of the different civic leaders, and as well as the city staff and Greg and council. So they actually had a good broad spectrum of people they interviewed and talked to. But more importantly, they were trying to get to the root of what people loved about this community, what they were passionate about in this community, and how could they pull that together and create the story that we needed to be able to go out and tell and sell, if you would, the city. They did a great job. In fact, we wanted the community to come along. So there was a site called brandingtorivers.com that you could go to and watch the journey along the way, whether it was asking them to participate in surveys or what did they do on their last trip? Who did they talk to? What did they see? It allowed us to expose and not be behind closed doors doing this, but be fully transparent and inclusive of getting the community to be involved. After all, it's our story. It's the community's story. It's not a small group of people. We just happen to be blessed to shepherd it, but it's really all of our story. So we went through this journey and we came back with what we believe was a great brand story. We tested it. We ran research to find out, was it valid? Was it real? Was it authentic? Would people actually be motivated to come to this city as a result of this story? So a series of brand principles, brand story, which then kind of leads to then a brand look, which is really just signifying that there's a change going on in the community, and does this represent the story we're trying to tell? So we went through a series of different looks as well. It's not about a logo, it's about the principles and the brand story that gets you to the logo. But the logo is important because we also believed we needed to signify change. There's not a lot of people aware of where Two Rivers is, much less consideration to come and visit it, much less to want to invest here or live here. So we had to signify a little bit of change on who we are as a community, and this would identify that. So we're excited that this testing of even that logo resonated to people across the country that said, if I saw this is what I think of this city. And it was really pretty much spot on with what we were hoping would come out of it.
That to me was amazing. Out of a very simple graphic, the emotion and that can be conveyed, and just the different topics that it points to, like water and fishing and something very I don't want to, it's not elementary, but something elegant and refined can say so much, and people were able to pick up on that. To me, I was kind of shocked, because this was my first foray into doing any type of branding work, and learned a lot.
And this could seem like an unfamiliar process to anybody that doesn't live and breathe in marketing, right? And so, like, both Curt and I have a background in marketing communications. And so, like, if somebody says brand to us, that we have a very different reaction to that than your average person on the street, because they would look at you like, brand, what are you talking about, like Coca-Cola or what? But the idea is, I think a lot of people will right away think, oh, it's a logo, but that's not it, right?
Right.
And like, if we sort of think about things that need to happen first before you can do any kind of marketing and communications, those are the things that are your brand. That's your identity, who you are. What are the elements of that? I like the way that Curt said it a little bit earlier. What's your elevator speech? Mm-hmm. The idea of an elevator speech is you've got 30 seconds to impress somebody, who's got the money and the potential interest to invest in you in some way or another. And in those 30 seconds, what are you going to say about your brand that's going to catch enough of their interest that they want to sit down and have a longer meeting with you? And so, part of the problem, and Curt did a really nice job of laying this out, is that you've got you've got to be able to come onto the same page with a consistent story and something that is relevant to the people that live and breathe whatever that place or brand is. So for Two Rivers, like, what are the key qualities we talk about in those 30 seconds that fit? And so that's when we start to get at brand, we're thinking about, like, if you talk about brand principles or your brand platform, that's like, what, if you could mention 3 things about the city of Two Rivers that really identify it for what it is, that's what we got out of this effort. And this was something that went on since fall last year, involved an awful lot of people, and we really put the word out to the community around this in a big way. And it's something that's going to continue to evolve over time. It's not done. It's never going to be done. These are not a project, but a program, something that goes on over time. And so it's something people will be able to influence over time. Sorry, I got on my soapbox about this.
No, it's great. Well said, and you echoed exactly. And we all play a part in that brand story, right? And the evolution. Look at some of the famous brands along the way, how they've had to evolve to survive, right? Whether it was, and I'll use the simple case of McDonald's. They started out as just a simple hamburger chain, and they evolved over time based on needs, demands, opportunities, day parts. They went into breakfast, they went into coffee, they went into drink. I mean, they've changed but they stayed true to what they were as far as a quick serve restaurant, right? And being a efficient operation, consistently efficient and valued, what you want to call value based on fast food. But they had to evolve, and they still have to evolve. All of us have to evolve. We all are our own brand. We're marketing ourselves every day, whether you pick out the shirt you're going to wear, to the shoes you're going to wear, to the glasses you're going to own, to the house you're buying. We all have tastes, and it's all part of who we are and our makeup, whether it's our beliefs, our likes, our passions, whether you got a garden in your backyard or whether you've got, you're not even owning a house, but you want to live in a high-rise condo. We all have our personal tastes as well. So it's very difficult in a place environment, in a community, to try to pull that together. But the common thread, and I think what you both touched on, is the fact that our passion, our positive energy can deliver the brand more than anything else can, more than having an ad on TV. And if you're not authentic and people come here and don't feel welcome, don't feel friendly, or they're reading things that are negative and not positive, why would they even consider this place?
Right.
So it's about changing the mindset that it's not the city's brand, it's not even the business's brand, it's our brand, it's our story. And we try to stay as true as we could to the history and the heritage of what Two Rivers, how it got to where it is, where it's at today, and making sure we don't stray too far from that. And because otherwise we're not authentic. And if we're not authentic and we're not real and we're superficial, then that comes through very quickly to anybody, to your point, Todd, who may want to invest or build a workforce here, or the millennials who want to move here and experience different things or raise their family here. So it's got to be authentic, and it's got to be really grounded in reality. But we all play a part. And that's the thing that I want to make sure that we all step back and say, you know what? It's not their issue. It's not their responsibility to brand this or sell this. Because when you're pointing the finger, remember, 3 are pointing back at yourself. What am I doing? What am I doing to make sure that I can help be a brand ambassador, to be positive force behind the city? If we think our rates are too high as far as utilities, let's get more people here to use them. The rates will go down. If we think our taxes are too high, let's get more people here to share in the tax and the infrastructure burden that a city has, whether it's Manitowoc, Milwaukee, Sheboygan, whatever. We all have an infrastructure that, in order to pay for it, you have to have enough people here, or businesses, or revenue, or people coming and visiting, spending their money in your shops, or visiting and stopping by.
Right.
But it's critically important that we all play a role in everything.
Right.
Everything. I think people miss the mark on it. Everything can be. You put a post on Facebook that's negative, it's on there. It's not going away. You got 5 people saying it, it spreads like wildfire. Put some positive stuff out there. And this lady, we talked about that last night. We had a gal just start a positive Facebook site 2 days ago. In fact, I got a call with her today at 3:30 to thank her for what she's done. But she's taking it from a positive, unifying community focus.
Right.
That's what this brand message is about. That's what this brand initiative was about, is to let's go tell a positive story.
Well, and that's what this country is about.
Yeah.
United we stand, right? You know, I think it's easy to lose sight of that in sort of the ongoing electronic petri dish that is social media. Just so much crap can come out, and the relative anonymity of not seeing somebody face to face and saying hurtful or angry kinds of things, it's damaging us, you know, as a people and as a culture. And
it's very
it really,
easy to do that.
Yeah, and it really hurts in smaller
easy.
Communities like ours.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's eventually going to go away. I think, you know, its time will pass. And right now I think that people are just angry in general, and they have to point the finger at somebody or something, or, you know, but then, you know, you have your people who are happiest when they're miserable, you know.
Sometimes,
so
sure.
You know, and sometimes you just have to just ignore it. Tough to do, but sometimes, you know, and sometimes you have to combat it, which is what we're doing with the True to Two.
Yeah, it's by the way,
marketing.
it's not
so
easy.
It's been 18 months of hard work and a learning experience like you wouldn't believe. Well, I'm sure you understand. You guys get it, because I wasn't the only newbie to that type of world. We had other people who were volunteers, and a real eye-opening experience. And I just can't believe that August the 29th is so close now. We've talked about it. We've talked about this moment, and it's actually almost upon us. So do you want to tell us kind of what to expect and all the joy and fun that we get to have?
So we're coming to a crescendo, as Darla would say. But as Todd also said, it's not done. I mean, it's not just because you have the framework, and they provided us, by the way, an implementation plan, a brand guidelines, a framework, but it's a multi-year rollout. It's got to be organic. It's got to move in a pace that, one, we can afford, and not the city, the community can afford, and we can be successful at making sure who we're targeting, how we're targeting, what does success look like, how do you measure that? All of that has to be put in, and we got to be holding ourselves accountable for, we did this, that didn't work. We did this, that seems to work. Let's put more against that. But it's up to all of us. So the good news is we're about to share, and that's what August 29th is. We came up with this Celebration Two Rivers idea because, first of all, wouldn't it be great to all get out of the house and socialize again? Social distancing, of course, but socialize again and then celebrate this wonderful community we live in. So we came up with this event that will be on August 29th, 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock at Walsh Field. Plenty of space to spread out. There's going to be 7 food trucks, plenty of food trucks to be spread out, and you can get your food and go enjoy it with your family. There'll be concessions there. So if you need some of your Wisconsin's favorite beverages, you could probably get those there. We will even have a surprise, and we're going to do, between the band performances, we will share the journey, let's call it the brand documentary, to bring everybody along with how we got to where we got to. And that'll be the big reveal as well, that we hope to share with everybody and get them, more importantly, get them excited. You know what? We know not everybody's going to love every piece of what we did. But if you look at the essence of what we did, if you look at the true understanding of, you know what, it's civic pride. Do we love our community? How do we tell that story? And help us tell that story. So part of it is let's get all 11,712 Two Riverites to be excited about what they see and energized to go out and be brand ambassadors. So that's part of it. And we're even throwing fireworks in there on that 29th, just to say, you know what, let's celebrate. I mean, we might have missed the 4th, but maybe we'll catch it on the 29th, and we'll be able to walk out saying, what a great evening, what a great opportunity. Met some new neighbors, I've got it now. I'm armed with this information. I can go out and do the elevator speech if I need to, or boy, that sparks some ideas on how I can join a community effort or be involved or get my kid involved or see, son, there's an opportunity here for you to advance if you want to build a business or if you want to continue to do something you're passionate about, or come on back because you went to college and you've got a degree that you can put it to use here in this wonderful city called Two Rivers. It's an opportunity. But we're really excited. As you can tell, I love what we're doing. Do you get exhausted and do you get tired sometimes of feeling like you're pushing water uphill with a rake? Yeah, sometimes you do. But you know what? If we're not pushing the water uphill, who is? Right? So that's kind of our mantra as far as the committee. And that's why we're so devoted. And I'm so blessed that you guys, especially you two, but you guys feed me the energy to keep it going. But we're extremely excited because it really is your story, Two Rivers. Right. It's our story to tell. And we hope you come along and help us do that in whatever efforts you can and whatever time you can devote to it.
Right. And I'm looking forward to the 29th. Just getting outside and there's going to be a food truck that has cookie dough. So that's going to be exciting.
Wow. There's even a food truck that's going to have corn in the cob.
Yes.
Oh,
nice.
Oh my gosh. And aren't we going to have what else are we doing? I know we're doing the face painting.
We're going to do social distancing face painting, meaning the face painter itself, she'll have a shield and stuff on, gloves, so she can do that. No different than if you got your nails done or your hair cut.
Right. So I was wondering about that, Curt, because is there a really long brush?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Brush on a stick,
Or do they get a glop of paint and they go.
I didn't say the painting was going to be great. It could be exactly
that. Eye.
Just like this.
Yes, this would be very good.
Yeah. So no, but there'll be things for kids, and there'll be. It really should be a great time. I hope the weather cooperates. I hope
it will.
I hope the pandemic cooperates and keeps getting a little bit more, behind us instead of in front of us. Would be a good thing. But whatever you do, if you don't feel like coming out, I'm sure we're going to have a video crew out there. We'll videotape it. We'll share some of the highlights, probably on Two Rivers Talks and probably on some other channels that you can get it. So if you're not there, and we'll be posting the documentary eventually on the Two Rivers site, as well as sharing the message of our brand story in other ways you can probably learn about it if you can't make Walsh Field. We hope you can be out there. If you can't, we're not forgetting about you. We'll make sure that you're getting up to speed as fast as you can in other ways.
Okay. I think that the brand documentary is something that we could also do as a special feature for TR Talks very easily. And that would be another avenue for sharing. Because it turned out great. It really did. So
yeah. And we're blessed to also have a couple actors who now have their SAG cards who are sitting to my left on that video. So I think they're being Emmy nominated for their performance.
One of my
best lines is from Todd, and I'm not going to say it. I'll let you just listen and pay attention to the video, and you can hear an excellent line of an example. I'll just say it's bones. So that's all. I'm going to give you that one word. But listen for the cue is
bones. Sounds like I'm in the mafia or something. Made my bones.
That's right. Yeah. And by the way, I mean, between what you guys do as a public service with Two Rivers Talks, Darla, your gallery, and a lot of the things you do there for the art community, and Todd for Biz Starts and for what you do with your business locally here too. I mean, this is a classic example of people rolling up their shirt sleeves, getting involved. If we had all 11,000 people being as involved, can you imagine the power behind where we could take this community?
I know that. that energy is there, because if you look at the all the emotion that goes into the comments and on Facebook pages and things like that, like I know we made an earlier comment about this, but I think one of the takeaways for that is that we've got people that live here who care very, very deeply for being in the city, and if we could redirect some of that energy away from just grouching about everything, that comes out, and I'll say it because I'm not a paid public employee and I do this as a volunteer. Stop grousing and do something. I feel we'd be in a much better spot, and so we're moving in the right direction, and we just need more hands at the wheel around this work.
Right.
We do. So celebrate the fact that we live in a beautiful community. We're free. We have fresh air, clean water, lights are on. We can eat. Most of us are healthy.
We can eat.
Those who aren't healthy, pray for them so they can. But we got great schools, hospitals. Think about the blessings. And we're safe. We're in one of the safest communities I've ever lived in. Clean, safe. We just need to make sure we tell our story in a way that's going to continue to foster this to the next, call it Two Rivers 2.0. Where do we go next? Right?
Yeah, we just bring it to the next level, and we're basically unstoppable. We really are. And we've got people who are ready to, help shepherd it through, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But we would love for more people to be involved and to take ownership of this and to give their comments and their suggestions and their time, because it does take time and effort, but it is super rewarding. So just don't miss out on being involved in this project. And now it will turn into a program, an ongoing program. It's fun too. It really is fun.
Yep.
So, and I've really I enjoy working with you guys.
Right back at you, Darla.
Yep. I'm blessed. We are blessed to be here. And you know what? We can all play a part of staying true to two.
Our history is rooted in creativity and entrepreneurship. That culture means there's always an opportunity to create something new. What will you make of tomorrow in Two Rivers? True to tomorrow. True to two.